Morning. Morning. Happy Tuesday. I'm getting a couple error messages, making sure everything's okay. Hope you can see me. Hope you can hear me. Again, happy Tuesday. This is the 8th day of March. 8th day of March. This is the 47th episode of season 3 of the Be Your Own Hero show. HERO is an acronym. It means helping everyone reaps optimism. In other words, helping others helps you. It's a reciprocal action. I'm your host. I'm sekouwrites. I am a professional creative and the creator of the HERO ministry movement, which is my effort to uplift and inspire at first the unhoused community and then the community at large. Shout out to New Thought Media Network for allowing me this platform to talk about my journey of becoming my own hero and my own financial hero. If this show serves you in any way, please like, please comment, please share to the donation, but mainly share so that we can expand the scope of the show. Join me here Monday through Friday, 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time, 8:45 a.m. Central, 7:45 a.m. Mountain. All right, I think that's it for the intro stuff. This season, I forgot my disclaimer. Quick disclaimer, I am not a personal trainer nor am I a financial advisor, so please do your own due diligence. That said, season 3 is all about doing, and so the idea is that we are taking action. Not just thinking, not just reading, not just mulling things over, but actually taking action so that we can change our financial lives and our financial futures. All right, so in case you missed the memo yesterday, I'm back in Nashville, back in Studio A, and I've got a funny Studio A story. This isn't Studio A, though. This is like Studio C of Nashville, I think, or Studio D. I moved around a lot in here, but let's just call it Studio C for now. Back in Studio C, got a funny story about that. And actually, I'm going to tell that story now. So yesterday, I had a few Zooms, had a few work Zooms. And those of you that use Zoom on a regular basis know that you can blur out the background now. So it'll kind of crop you out and blur everything behind you. So you couldn't see any of this stuff. Well, usually you couldn't, but I didn't have the blur on. So I'm in the middle of this work Zoom. Someone's like, what's up with the Barney behind you? I was like, Barney? So she was talking about this, this little purple dinosaur. And so I had to think about it. And then I told them the story, so I'll share it with you. So this little Barney, and I didn't realize it was Barney. Maybe it's not Barney, but it looks a lot like Barney. It's a purple dinosaur, so it's probably Barney. Anyway, I didn't realize it was Barney, so it was brought up. But this is a cup. This is a sippy cup. The tail is a straw, little flexi straw. See that? And the head comes off, so you can fill the little dinosaur with liquid, right? And I just thought this was hilarious. I saw this in Kroger and picked it up. And all that begs the question, why, right? Well, one of the reasons is because my mom was always talking about you got to have some whimsy in your life. You got to have something in your life that just makes you smile. And this makes me smile. So I got this Barney. I've never used it. It's just decoration. So, and I forgot about it until it got brought up to me in a work Zoom yesterday. So that's one of the things that's behind me on my little work shelf back here. So, fun story. All right, so back to the lecture at hand. Hero Ministry Movement News. Today is day 281 of my run streak. However, I have not been running yet. It's the first time in a long time that I haven't done my run in the morning before the show. And what happened essentially is that yesterday, Sunday's 12-hour drive from Florida to Tennessee caught up with me. Hit me hard after I'd done my work Zooms that I was just talking about and other things. I just had to lay it down. And I woke up still feeling groggy today. And so it took me a while to get up and moving. And by the time I got up and moving and dressed, I knew I couldn't complete a 5K and then make it back in time for the show. Now, I could have run a mile. And I thought about that because I had enough time to get a mile in. But I was like, no, we've got this challenge going. I don't know if you know about this. I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but I've got this challenge going with myself where I have challenged myself to run a 5K every day until day 365. So that's 3.1 miles. So that takes me about half an hour or so. So I didn't have enough time to do that. But I was thinking maybe I could just do a mile, which I totally had enough time for, and then do 2 miles later. But I was like, no, I don't want to do that yet. So anyway, the point is I've not done my run yet. No run at all thus far today. So I must make sure that I get it in today to, fulfill my promise to myself, to be impeccable with my word to myself, circling back to the 4 agreements. And actually, there's another circle back to the 4 agreements. The 4th agreement is do your best. The first agreement is be impeccable with your word. And the 4th agreement is do your best. So today, this is what my best looks like. I was like, let me make sure that I'm present and accounted for the show. I'm actually dressed to go running and take this blazer off and get my run in afterwards. So make sure that I get my 5K in and continue to be impeccable with my word to myself to run a 5K every day until I get up to day 365. That came up on yesterday's Zoom too. Like, how long are you doing this? I don't know. But right now, my goal is day 365. And I've got 80 some odd days to get to day 365. Only 80 some odd days to get to day 365. Okay, so that was a little bit of a sidebar about the run streak and about Barney. So moving on, charity run number 3. Charity run number 3, we were raising money for Mr. Charles. And when I was in Florida, I hadn't been checking the GoFundMe link that often. And so I was shocked to find out that we are 97% of the way to the goal. There's literally $22 left. $22 left. All we need is 2 people to donate $11 and we're done. 2 people donate $11 and we're done. So please share, please spread the word so that somebody can get their blessing. As I mentioned before, I have gotten away from trying to close the gap myself because I don't want to block anyone's blessing. Because for sure, you donate to something like this and you will be blessed in your life in some way. So I'm not blocking anybody's blessing. Yeah, I feel like 2 people can donate $11 and just close this out, and I can get in touch with Mr. Charles and let him know the surprise. Very exciting stuff. All right. So that said, moving on to the 30-day streak challenge. I also haven't been posting as much in that group while I was in Florida, and so I was very excited to see today that Nan put a whole paragraph in there about how well she's coming along with running, and she was able to run almost 2 miles without stopping and without walking. And shout out to Nan for that, because I remember that for me. I remember when I got to the point where I was like, wait, I didn't stop. I didn't walk. And that was my only goal at the time. My only goal was to finish whatever run we were doing and not take a walk break. And so I'm with you, Nan. I'm excited for you. I'm glad the people in the Doing tribe are still doing. I saw a post from Gladys too, and she's got different places she goes to on her bike, meaning the screen will show scenes from other cities. And I think she was just in Italy. So that must be really fun. So shout out to Gladys and shout out to Nan and all the other people that are in the Doing tribe, still doing the work, still keeping the streak going. Okay, so we're still in Hero Ministry Movement news, and I want to double down on the 3 big announcements that I made yesterday. So let me focus on one. I talked to Professor Frentress last night, and Brown Boy Mad, my play, in case you don't know, I wrote a play called Brown Boy Mad, and it's going to be mounted at Fisk University this Friday and this Saturday. Very exciting stuff. And it is an evolution. When we mounted it at Fisk before, it was a staged reading, meaning that the student actors had their scripts on stage and they read them. This time, they're going to be off script. They're memorizing the script. And there's blocking, which means that there's movement. So in the stage reading, they just sat still. Well, they didn't sit still. There was a little movement. I injected a little movement, but basically they had their bar stools and they stayed still mostly. But this time, there's movement. I don't even know what kind of movement, because every time Professor Frentress tries to tell me something, I'm like, don't tell me, I want to be surprised. So she is directing it. She is the chair of the theater department at Fisk University, but she's also an accomplished actress and director in her own right. She's directed a number of things. She starred in a number of things. Like she's a powerhouse. So I can't wait to see what she's come up with. I gave her carte blanche to do whatever she wanted with my script that she wants to. So I'm very eager to see what's going to happen on Friday. That said, brass tacks. So we are doing it in person at Fisk University in Little Theater, and we are also streaming it. So if you can't make it, don't worry about it. We're going to stream it. You know, that has become part and parcel of how schools and events communicate events, right? So don't worry, there will be streaming. And probably on a couple of different streams as well. Anyway, it's going to happen Friday, 7 p.m. local time. That's 7 p.m. Central. So do the math for your time zone. That'll be, what, 8 p.m. Eastern, right? Anyway, I'm super excited to see the evolution of Brown Boy Mad. I've been calling it Brown Boy Mad 2.0 as directed by someone else, and I can't wait to see what they came up with. So that's what's happening this weekend, Friday and Saturday at Fisk University in Little Theater, 7 p.m. local time. Stay tuned for the stream information. Okay. That said, these things are kind of overlapping. The Zeta event in Louisville, Kentucky is actually Saturday. So if I'm able to make it to the Zeta event, I won't be able to make it to the second day of Brown Boy Mad. But I'll be there the first day, and we're going to do a talk back on the first day, which is Friday. So I'll be there. I'll be surprised by whatever happens on stage, and then there'll be a talk back. So very much looking forward to all of that. Okay. So all that said, let's move on to the envelope challenge. Here's a die. Here's a die. Game show. Rolling 4. The number is 4 for today. Number is 4. And what are we doing? We're moving $4 from. Oh, I got some music. Turn that down a little bit. So we've got $4. We're moving the $4 from our checkings to our savings and using that as a way to provide funds to invest. Because again, the number one excuse for people not investing is they don't have money to invest. So basically we're moving the dollar amount of a cup of coffee from our checkings to our savings every day, every 5 days a week, so that we have money accumulated to invest. So we won't have that excuse anymore. All right, so that's that. That's the envelope challenge. I feel like we need a new name now. It's become bigger than that, but for now, the envelope challenge. All right, moving on. Where are we going from here? Let's see. Well, it's almost 10 o'clock, so I think the morning's in. So I didn't do morning's in today either. I did do transcendental meditation. I definitely fell asleep during it though, not gonna lie. Fell asleep during transcendental meditation, but I didn't do my morning's in. So I got a couple of callbacks for morning's in. Well, I've already given one because when I was going through my fatigue this morning, the 4 agreements popped into my head. Be impeccable with your word and just do your best. Just do your best, right? 2 of the 4 agreements. And I'll also add on something to that. I'll add one of the TikToks. Those of you who have been watching know that I've set up my TikTok account to kind of ambush me with positive thinking. Tony Robbins, E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher, Mel Robbins, like all these really big thought leaders every time I go into TikTok. And so that's been very helpful to me. Whether I've done my morning practice or not, when I go into TikTok to post my run report, I get a word. I get a word of wisdom. So here's one of many. This one is from David Meltzer. I'm not sure who he is, but I like what he says, and so I follow him. And he's one of the people that ambushes me with positive thinking. And he said recently, don't limit your abundance with time. Don't limit your abundance with time. In other words, don't apply a construct, a man-made construct of time, because somebody just arbitrarily decided what time is a long time ago, like what is an hour, what is a minute. It was decided by somebody. It's a man-made construct. So don't apply a man-made construct to your abundance. And here's the example he gave. Don't say, I'm going to make $1 million this month. Because when you do that, you limit the universe. And the universe doesn't like limitation. The universe doesn't like to be pimped up like that, pent up like that, right? The universe wants to be free flowing. So if you decide the win, then WHEN, if you decide to win, then the universe won't work as well around what you want. So he suggests phrasing it differently. I'm going to make $1 million as soon as possible, or I'm going to make $1 million as fast as I can. So that you allow the universe to decide the how and the when. Leave that up to the universe, but you know what it is you want, and you have faith that you're going to achieve it. So I really like that, because when I was talking earlier about high income skills, the idea was to generate $10,000 a month, right? And so I was thinking about, all right, I got to generate $10,000 a month, and I felt pressure immediately. And that's David Meltzer's point. Like, once you feel that pressure is pushing out the good of the universe. So you want to open it up and say, I want to make, let's say, $10,000 a month as soon as possible, as fast as I can. I want to get up to making $10,000 a month by using high income skills as soon as possible. And then you open up your world to the universe providing you with the how and the when. So I thought that was a pretty good thought. So I'm going to work with that in terms of my affirmations in the short term for the time being. And I hope you decide to as well. So that is my TikTok ambush for Morning Zen. And now we're moving on to something else. Let's move on to abundance. Let's talk about abundance. Let's get to it. So we've got our affirmation that I haven't done in a minute. So let's get to the affirmation. Just a reminder of all of us about mindset. Here we go. I am so happy and grateful to be a multi-millionaire in every area of my life. I am so happy and grateful to be a multi-millionaire in every area of my life. And then the other reminder, if you only spend, you'll stay poor. If you only save, you'll stay middle class. If you want to become wealthy, you must invest. It's not optional. And just an add-on to that, this reminder, remember I looked up the current rate of inflation the other day and found out that it's 7.5% right now. 7.5%. So the value of your money, wherever it's stored, is losing its value at the rate of about 7.5%. So unless you have your money stored someplace where it's earning dividends, interest, where it's earning money at a rate more than 7.5%, you got a slow leak. So the dollar amount may stay the same in your account, but the value is reducing itself. What you can purchase with that money will reduce itself. So be very, very careful about where you put your money. Be very attentive to how much interest you're getting, how much you're getting in terms of dividends, so that you can battle that inflation. Okay, so that's why investing is not optional. It's necessary. Because if you don't invest, your money loses value all the time. Okay, so yesterday I was talking about, well, mindset really, and a couple other things. So mindset in terms of my own personal example. I mentioned that I drove that U-Haul truck from Florida to Tennessee, and it takes a lot of gas, so it cost me about $200 in gas. But the woman I was driving the truck for gave me the $200, but she sent it to me via Cash App. And so my immediate thought was, I'm not going to spend it. I'm not going to reimburse myself. I'm just going to take the hit and then invest the $200 that she gave me in Cash App, because Cash App allows you to invest in the stock market from within Cash App. I put it in my checking account, it's just in my checking account. And the main reason that I'm doing that is because I've done it the other way before, right? I've had somebody reimburse me via Cash App and I put the money in my checking account, and my circumstances haven't changed, right? So I'm expanding my mindset to do the more difficult thing, which is not reimburse myself, just take that hit, because I am planning for my future. So I'm excited about that expansion of mindset. I'm excited about the fact that I can see how mindset rubs off on the people around me, how I'm hearing conversations from people in my immediate circle about investing, about shifting priorities, about how they're talking to their kids about investing. It's very exciting. So that said, I mentioned Shaq's percentage breakdown yesterday. So what he was taught to do was invest 75%, keep 25%. That's very aggressive. Well, what I didn't mention is what to do with the 75%. Like, say you follow Shaq's plan, you get your lump sum of money and you decide you're going to take 75% and invest it, and 25% you're going to keep it. So that 25% presumably goes into your checking account. Then what do you do with that 75%? Well, I don't know, because I'm not a financial advisor. But what I am thinking about actively is Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett talks about putting his money, well, the whole story is, he said that if and when he passes away before his wife does, all of his $114 billion will be allocated into just two buckets, 90% into index funds and 10% into bonds. That's it. That's the whole play. So to me, if Warren Buffett is willing to trust $114 billion to those two allocations, then I can trust them as well. So my intention is to experiment with this U-Haul truck situation. So I'm gonna take 25% of the $200, put that in checking. Take 75% and put that and divide that between 90% for, I'm lying. So let me explain why I'm lying. Because it's in Cash App. Cash App does not offer dividends. They don't offer DRIP, which is dividend reinvestment plan, which means that if you have a dividend paying position in Cash App, the dividends will just come out to you like a payment, like somebody paid you. And I don't want that. I want the dividends to be reinvested. So that means for me, and for you if you have Cash App, what you may want to consider is only buying growth stocks on Cash App. Growth stocks. These are stocks that do not have a dividend. They automatically use their dividend money to make the company bigger. Therefore, you don't have to worry about it. So back to my example. Here's my play. I'm going to take the $200. I'm going to take 25%, move it over to our checking. I'm going to leave 75%. I'm going to put all of that 75% into growth stocks. Right now, I think I mentioned this before, I've been whittling away at Netflix. I want to get a full share of Netflix while it's still on sale because of what's going on in the greater world. So that's my play. And just a reminder that the FANG stocks, really it's MANG because Facebook changed its name, but it doesn't have the same ring. It doesn't have the same ring to it, so I'm going to keep saying FANG. The FANG stocks are the 5 biggest growth stocks that have really done well over time. Now that's not a guarantee, but it's as close to a guarantee as you can get. So the FANG stocks are Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. They're all pretty expensive for buying an individual share, but all of those stocks are represented within the S&P 500. So the easiest way to get exposure to those 5 FANG stocks is to buy a share of the S&P 500. But the S&P 500 does pay a dividend, which is a great thing. But again, I don't want to have anything that pays a dividend in my Cash App account. So that explains why I'm going to use a U-Haul money for a growth stock, and specifically for Netflix. I say that as my alarm goes off to wrap it up. So I'm wrapping it up, but I want to circle back to the how-to guide, because that is my mission right now, to create a how-to guide for myself and for all of us to create a how-to guide together. So I'd like to know where people are. So drop a note in the comments, send me a DM, let me know how far you've gotten. But what we've talked about thus far, if you're just joining us, is creating a how-to guide based on something that you already know. So hopefully you've made a list of topics, of ideas. These often are things that people ask you about, where people say, hey, can you do this? Or how did you do that? They already are letting you know that this is the thing that you're known for. So hopefully you've made a list of those things. Hopefully you whittled that list down to 3 things, and hopefully you've chosen one, and then hopefully the one that you've chosen, you started looking on your devices or looking around in your notebooks for information that you've already created about that topic. Because again, if it's something that people ask you about a lot, you've already got the information somewhere. It's in your email, it's on your hard drive in a Word document, you've got a notebook that you filled up about it. Like it already exists. So compile that information and start reading through it just in your spare time. Like that's the next step. Start reading through the information that you've already accumulated about that topic. As you read through, you're automatically going to start editing because your perspective now is different from your perspective when you created that content. So, recap. Make that list of things that people ask you about. Whittle that list down to 3 because we're going to get to the other 2 soon. But choose one. Start looking around your space for information that you've already created about that one thing, and start reading it. Start ingesting it. Start living with it a little bit, because you'll be surprised. I've already done these steps, and I've been surprised. I told you my process. I actually took an episode of this show and had it transcribed by someone, and I read it back, and I was like, that's pretty good. But here are some other things I didn't say on the show that I think I want to say. So I've been building out that how-to guide, and it's not very long, but I think it's pretty impactful. And that's an important point. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be long. We're not talking about a book here. We're just talking about a pamphlet, right? For those of you who know the book, It Works, is a tiny little pamphlet that's powerful. It's about the power of positive thinking, the power of mindset. So it doesn't have to be long to be impactful. It's not. Okay, so all that said, I think I covered what I needed to cover. I'm just checking my notes because I actually got a little bit of extra time there. Not much, but a tiny little bit. Is there anything else I can slide in there? Well, all right, so just a reminder about Netflix. Just a reminder about Netflix. So Netflix, I think I mentioned this yesterday, but Netflix went public in 2002. And if you had spent $100 on Netflix in 2002, you'd have $30,000 now. And I say that because a lot of people are selling their Netflix positions now because it's down. And yes, it's down. It's down 28% for the year. But if you pull back and look at the whole scope of it, it's up 30,000% from inception. So these FANG stocks are long plays. They're buy, hold, add on, and let them grow. And don't worry about the daily, weekly, monthly fluctuations. Don't even worry about the yearly fluctuation. Because you're betting for the long haul, unless you're talking about trading, which is another entirely different topic. They also came up yesterday during my Zoom call. So last comment before I close out is there's this podcast called Think Profit, and it's all about the psychology of trading. And it'd be interesting to you probably to check it out because it's not talking about how to trade, it's talking about the mindset that you have to have in order to be a successful trader. That trading is 90% mental, 90% psychological. So very interesting. All right, so stay tuned for prayer time coming up now at 10:15. Also check out Sit with Rev Melissa at 10:30. I'll be back producing that show and probably popping in to make a comment or two. I didn't get to the comments today, but I see there's a few of them, so I'll read them right after this and respond tomorrow. So until tomorrow, be a hero, be your own hero, keep doing, and remember that right now is better than perfect in terms of investing. So go invest later.